Hi, everybody. I'm live. I've already got a few questions in the uh, in my basket of what people want to know about, but I only have a couple. So this would be a good day if you want to get red in the garden. This is a good day to do it because we're going to be have a lot. I think we're going to have some space today. But what I wanted to start with was sort of an anatomy of the garden because I know you guys see me throw rocks and wave my hands all over it real quickly. Um, but what I like to do with it is kind of go over what the areas are that are on it and what they mean, and um, so that you can understand. This is the garden as a whole. And if you look in the middle, it's water, air, earth, and fire. And I don't have a pointy thing, so I can't point them out to you. But those are the four pieces in the middle, and those are the basic elements of shamanism. And one of the things that I noticed was when I was putting the just getting okay. How did I come up with the garden in the first place? I woke up in 2021, in the early months of 2021, and I was told that I was going to create a new divination tool. And it was to be not as dualistic as Tarot is. Tarot tends to be very dualistic. Um, and I also wanted them to, take away a lot of when you read Tarot and someone's heard things about the Tower and the Tower card shows up in the reading and they don't understand, and you kind of have to moderate, because sometimes the Tower can mean it's a change you just really need to make, and it may come on suddenly, but it doesn't mean you're going to fall to the ground and get scrunched under a tower. So that was sort of my mind thinking at the time. And in the middle, I had heard you need to work with shamanistic ideas. And then the words on the outside, which are go for it, true, future, present, path forward, false, restate, past. Those are the ones that are sort of in the little triangular, the sloping out to the edge triangulars, not the spreading out ones on the outside. And those were the words I was told. I had a long list, and eventually it culled it down. When I meditated on it, it came down to this. And then the zodiac showed up, and I took the root as security, the sacral is creativity, the solar plexus is power, the heart is love, the throat is truth, the eye, the third eye is intuition, the crown is enlightenment. And since I needed one more spot, had 10 spots and only 9 chakras. I have the tree of life came to me at the end. And then what happened was Alma and I, Alma, who's in Florida, and I came up. She came up with the form. She came up with the intertwining leaves. She came up with the graphics that you see. And then we tried it on black and white at first, and it was too stark. And then she ended up with this purpley colors because fluorites are my favorite stones. And she took the fluorites from the light blue to the darker purple. She found the place in Canada that weaves these beautiful silk scarves. They can only make 11 in a day. And she got it all worked out for me, and um, and did all the designs. So that's all Alma. And then we finally decided on the blue scarf, on the words, on the spaces as they were constructed. And then we knew that and I'm going to go into the stones after this, how the stones got chosen. So this is the architecture of the garden. And you look, if you look at the star, that if you're looking at the screen like I am, it's on the right-hand side in the bottom quadrant that says heart. After I'd started having people work with these, someone came to me and she'd had a dream and she walked around the garden all day, and in her meditation, she saw that all the garden starts in the heart. And so if a stone lands in that space, you read from that stone out. And then, okay, what's the other thing? Every night after I'd finally settled on the garden, I had a dream, a very vivid dream, where I walked through gardens. I walked through mid-century modern houses that were falling apart. I walked in a warehouse where they were having a competition, kind of like you see in reality TV. And the only way you could move forward from there was to get outside the house. And I actually have all these meditations, the dreams, in a booklet. If you get the garden, you get the booklet. It tells you kind of what my visions were. This woman had been working with the garden for a while, and she saw that the heart was the entry gate. And she used some of the images I use. I'm going to explain more of those images as we go into this, because some of them are just funny and some of them are really quite serious, and they are how you should look at that part of the garden. Um, all this being said, and then I have four corners of the garden that I have stones that um, quartz is the earth element, agate is the air element, serpentine is the fire element, angelite is the water element. And you get four cornerstones, you get 5 reading stones, and I'm about to go and show you how all that works. Okay, I'm back, but we're going to the garden anyway. I have a few questions here, and I promise you I will get to the questions. But there actually is a method to this madness. I know sometimes it seems like we spend our days wandering, which is probably somewhat true. Okay, this is the garden live. And one of the other things is one woman who was reading it, and she said all of a sudden her guides told her air, which is on my board, is here. Air is to face north. Well, that's north. Where I live, that is north. Where she lives, her air puts it on the other side. Um, and she was sitting there in her apartment, and she said, I don't know where the hell north is, in my apartment. And then they told her there's a compass on your cell phone. So she went looking through her cell phone and found the compass and found out which way was north and set her board up. And when she and I talked, she called me to have a private meeting about it, and we talked about it. And it does work better if air is north. So each of these spaces I call a tile, because it's been set here like tiles are set. And excuse me, my allergies are doing things. The stones that were chosen, I knew it had to be body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity were the 5 things I was going to use to help divine where we're going. I chose a number 5 because 5 means change. And when you roll these stones, you're looking for what's here and where it's changing to. So you have fusite for the body, orange or yellow calcite for the mind, amethyst is spirit. That one I knew right from the beginning. Pyrite is grounding, which is fool's gold, and this is the heaviest stone on this board, even though this one's 3 times its size because it's pyrite. And this is sodalite, which is clarity. And people look at the sodalite rock and they go, when I've seen sodalite, it's like this bright blue. Tumbled sodalite is. And when I first started working with the garden, I tried some tumbled stone and some natural stones. Tumbled stones just roll off the board. They're so smooth, they just slide off because this is silk. So that doesn't work so well. And then this is your guardian stones. And what they do is when I set them up on the garden, I can almost feel like there's a field in here that I'm working with. And this is my agate, and it's air. This is my serpentine, and it's fire. This is my serpentine, and serpentine's fire. I'm sorry. No, this is angelite. I'm trying to read and look at the stones and say angelite, and that's water. And this is quartz, and that's the earth. And that's the grounding elements. And there's a lot of different ways you can toss in the garden. And when you get your garden book, you get a sheet that explains all this. It also explains the spiritual things I was hearing from a monk from the 1100s who was a mystic. And a lot of what he said and how he wrote about things are key to the garden. And I guess why I'm telling you all this is I have about 20 gardens left. And when they're done, they're done. There will be no more gardens until I'm not sure when, until I think I can find someone who can help me figure out how to build them. They're not. If I sold them I sell them. I do not lose money when I sell a garden, but I can't make enough money to keep replicating the gardens. I'm not a great businesswoman, is I guess what I'm saying to you at the end of it all. So, what's happening here? Well, I'm trying to explain this much about how the garden works. When you get your garden right now, you get sheets inside that tell you how to interpret each stone in each space. And it tells you just if they're keyword impressions, and you have to put them together. So let's go play in the garden and see where we get to. Let's see. And I had one woman who wrote in, so I'm going to put her question up first. Will I get assistance that I need at work? And the other thing I can tell you about the garden, the one thing that was so frustrating to me when I did tarot was there was no timing. You talk to readers and they say this is going to happen, and it could be tomorrow and it could be 5 years from now. And that's always been a frustration for me. So I asked them to tell me how to read time in the garden. And you can read time in the garden. And when I get where I think I want to get to, okay, I'm going to stay on this, I think. This like pizza pie slice directly opposite you, that's winter, spring, summer, and fall. And like if your north is like mine is, then spring is always going to be with air. And I have other students who read it, and they read this timing thing. And so the first question we have up on the board is, will I get assistance that I need at work? And this may give us a timing for you as well. Spacey Angel. Okay. Will Spacey Angel be getting assistance that she needs at work? That's a very yes/no question, by the way, and the garden doesn't do duality well, but we'll work it out. Okay. You're going to get some late this fall, and it's going to be in helping you use more creativity. It's your spirit is in creativity there. And this is let go of limitations. That's what that pyrite stone means in in water. And I love it when I see that stone land there, because it means they're moving away from you. The limitations are moving away from you. And it also means grounding changes are turning into long-term patterns. So it's going to get started this fall in your sacral creativity. Somebody's going to see things more creatively than they have, and it's going to help you a lot. Your body is really setting into this. It's ground your thoughts, embody your past. Physical changes are coming. So I think it's going to happen for you. And this also is in the fall. It's really going to hit in the winter, that it's going to take over. And you're going to be solidly in getting the assistance by spring. And your clarity is in air. And when you start negotiating this with all these people, be really, really plain about where you want to go with it, because what you say is you're going to be held to it, and they'll be held to it too. And your mind is in the earth. And because I know that's in summer, but it's ties to this, because this says changes are coming right now. Final thoughts on this situation, how it's going to work, are coming right now. So I would say, Spacey Angel, it's going to happen like really soon, because we're almost at the end of fall. And December 21st is when we switch to winter. And then they kind of move. The other stones that are action stones are moving through spring and into summer. So whatever you really want to get set in place is going to get set in place by spring. I think that's nice. Let's see what we got in the comments. Okay, I'm just checking for questions. Hi, Mary McSorley. Glad to see you here. Mary's had some health issues and some other things, and glad to see her out and about on the chat rooms. Nee asks, would you ask the garden for the best way for me to navigate the next 3 months? Okay. What's ideal for Mimi in the next 3 months? Oops. That rolled off the board, but I'm putting it back in the path forward because that's where it stumbled out from. I need to pull my table a little better. You guys can't see it, but I just moved the table a whole bunch because it does that. What do I see for Mimi? Okay, we're going to start with where your power is, which is in the solar plexus. And it says you need to really think through every step before you make it. And that may be more calculating than you're used to being, Mimi, but it's what you need to do. And then you've got clarity in the tree of life. And you can't ask. Tree of life is like, in the vision I had when I walked through all the garden, the vision I had on the tree of life was the last one I had. And I was walking up this hillside, and it was covered with grass, and I was heading up towards the top, and all of a sudden, a sword just fell from space and planted itself, like it was going to become a tree. And it did become a tree. And all of the symbols and signs that I know how to relate to showed up in the branches of the tree. And all 4 of the suits of the tarot showed up in the tree. And at the end of the vision, it was so bright and so stunning that I almost couldn't look at it. That was really an interesting vision. And your path is blessed with wisdom, is when clarity lands there. That's how that stone comes about. But you have a lot of things emerging, because you have your body and your spirit are in earth. And when they're in earth, your body in earth means physical changes are going to be happening around you right now. And your spirit says you're transforming right now, but you're not yet finished. And the stone, the grounding stone, which rolled off, puts you in path forward. It says much of the abundance around you has already been created, but it's not yet finished. So Um, I think the most important stone for you in this is the one that fell in the, say, solar plexus, and that's your mind, and it's controlling your mind. Power through connecting your mental forces. That's where your power comes from. And you have all the clarity and wisdom you need. I think sometimes, Mimi, you back away from it. That's what I get a feeling. That's why these two are growing. Your body's growing, your spirit's growing. And it says, don't doubt that you're grounded. And don't doubt your path forward is grounded. And it looks very good. This lady just wants a general reading. I'll do synchrony. Synchrony? I don't know. We're going to see what's going on around, what's a general reading for you. Kind of where are you right now? Okay. You got a lot of good stuff coming forward towards you. You've got a grounding stone in future. And it says, all your gifts, even when you're up here, all your gifts aren't completely recognized. So by next spring, not everything, you won't recognize everything you have, but you have some powerful stones in earth. You're transforming right now. I got a feeling I'm going to see that rock there a whole lot this year. We're all transforming right now, and we're changing rapidly. And I don't think some of us are going to understand how we've changed until we get into winter. And your body is in air. And this is saying stay grounded with your thoughts. Keep them, you can tell the difference between flights of fancy and when I'm getting serious. This is a getting serious card. Your clarity is in water. And it says you will have, by springtime, you will have all the clarity you need to follow one of the paths and use your life forces to solve the problems. And then you got a stone, you got mind, and go for it, which is my favorite space. And I'll explain to you the vision I had about go for it. When I was a small child, my father decided I needed to learn how to play golf. Don't ask me why. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want to do it. But he got me a little golf set, and we belonged to a club where we could play golf. And he would drop me off and leave me with the pro to teach me and a bunch of haggle of other small children the guy didn't probably want to be near, tell you the truth. And I'm all of 5'4" and probably shrinking at this point in my life. And when I entered high school, I tried out for play, and you had to be under 5 feet tall to play this role. And I wasn't 5 feet because I got measured against the thing. So I was not a fast grower, and I was teeny tiny. And I have, long before I needed it because of my bad knees, I had one of those grabbers that can pick things up off the floor or off high shelves, because none of those are meaningful to me. I mean, those are all spaces that are wasted for me. So I was this tiny little kid. And if you've ever been on a golf course, they have mounds that are between you and the green. They're the obstacles. And there's a name for them, but I really repressed golf, guys. So I couldn't even see the pin. That's that flag you see in golf games where that tells you where to aim to. I was so short, I couldn't see the pin. And the golf pro was getting very frustrated because I kept telling him, I can't see where I'm supposed to hit this thing, and not to mention the fact I didn't want to be there, but he said, just go for it. Just hit the ball in the right direction, see what happens. I made a hole in one. And that just confirmed to my father that I was this natural golfer. And all it confirmed to me was miracles come from the universe, and you can get the golf in the thing. So go for it means whack it. Even if you're not sure what the direction is, even if you're not sure where you're going with it, take a stab at it. And And when Go For It has the mental stone in it, the mind in it, it means you know exactly where you're headed. You do. You just need to take the steps to get there. So I hope that what I'd see for you in the next 3 months is it's going to be great. You're going to have a good time. And this one, Nivra, can I overcome my current obstacles in my, and then it stops. Let's see if she can just overcome whatever that F is. Um, can will I'm going to ask for time. Will you? Is there timing on your overcoming your current obstacles? Yeah, they've been really strong. Your path forward's been blocked. Your spirit's been trying to emerge from the earth, and it's been kind of. I think it's been more of a struggle for you right now. You're transforming. You're not finished. Your grounding is in fire, which means clarification comes from something from your past you're trying to overcome. That's the obstacle. You got to go for it too. So you have the thoughts in your mind when you allow yourself to have them, because your clarity is hanging out here in the water. And it says you really do you need if you're already using proper terms like can I overcome? Yes, you can overcome because you can see yourself overcoming. Your clarity is coming through for you. Um, your problem is being weighted down by the past, and you just need to take a hard look at it and decide how you want to frame it. Because at the end of time, at the end of the day, that's what we all do: is we frame our past and what do we deal with it. And let's see. Question. Message from guides as I finish Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter chapters. I'll see if they'll give me a message about the. Um, are those books, Ness? I don't know. You're still being weighed down from some actions in the past that um, you need to look at previous um, forms that you worked in this problem and it worked. And all over it's still emerging. It's not a firm yes. You've got if you're writing something, and some you said chapters, you really have to look at some issues you've had in the past and a little more editing there. And your spirit's in air though, and that's fun. Spirits, oh, I know what the problem is. You're rethinking it, and you keep transforming it, and you're not sure and about which way to go with your path forward, because your mind's in the path forward. And your mind has just kind of opened up. So this is telling you to watch for what's clearly in sight. You need to think about what worked in the past. You've done this. You've had a trickier problem than this in the past, and you conquered it. So I would say it's saying yes, but you have to put the work in. And your clarity is coming from the earth. Oh, you've got more than one way to deal with it, and you're really sort of troubling over the correct one. That's what I'd focus on first, is getting my ducks in a row, culling through, well, that worked in the past, would it work now, kind of things. And it's vague for me. I think you're hearing what I'm saying. It's very vague for me. I'm having a hard time understanding what the question is. Nancy, nice to see you. What do you see for me in 2025 with regards to health? Okay. What's the path for Annie Moore in 2025 regarding her health? Oh. When rocks fall in two spaces, as clearly as this one has, I have to read both spaces. So your spirits in the present, and you're really sensing something's changing around you, and you're trying to get a way to express it. You're trying to get it in your mind. Do I see it turning out positively? I think what's ever happening around you is very grounding, and your body is in fire and water. Fire is the south, and it is past its ancestors. It's actually can be past lives, and you're embodying your past, and you're grounding a lot of stuff. So you're working on it energetically as well as any physical thing a doctor is telling you to do. And your clarity is in water. You got several different paths, but you'll come to the right conclusion because um, you're when you hear the right answer, you're going to go, "That's it. That's the right answer. That's what's going on around me." And earth and fire, man, you're really tying all your basic elements together. Your mind is in earth. Final thoughts are coming to this situation, and it's also in fire. Don't become tied to false energies of the past. So even if it's a completely new way to deal with it, really, really think about it, because I think that's what it's going to be. And this is in fire. Your clarification comes from dealing with your past. I think you carry forward some idea. This is how it ought to work. And I think you should be opening yourself up more to other opportunities. And I think you're going to have some new ones in the year, and you're not finished with it yet, but you've got all the grounding to get into to deal with the problem. Okay, Miriam. I'm going to read it from your perspective. I'm not going to read your son. If your son asked for a reading, I'd do it, but I'm going to see about Miriam's relationship with her son. A lot of activity this winter, and it's going to get resolved, I think, this spring. You also have go for it, and you've got the mind to go for it, and it's your thoughts are leading the way. Your body's in water, and that helps you. It helps to some extent. Your emotions help you stay grounded. That's true. Your grounding stove. You're seeing the situation clearly. You really are. I don't know. I think it would be more helpful if I could read him. Grounding changes are setting in right now to long-term patterns. So let me see if I can get more. Okay. You have your spirit in the crown chakra. So you've always got the highest elements in dealing with him. Spirit's going to harmonize your efforts. And then this is going to be the most telling one because it's later in the spring. And I see clarity here. Whenever you deal with him, make sure that your thoughts are really clear about how it's going to come out, because there's a way to harmonize all this eventually, but it's not just from your side. All you need to be clear as to what your goals are in dealing with him. And if he wanders off the map and does everything else wrong and different, or maybe shows up and does everything right, don't be so suspicious. But this is not a bad reading. Something's going to happen about January that's going to start shifting the energy forward into a better place for you. Okay. How can I overcome my current obstacles? Oh, and finances. That was what the F was. I've already read you, Nivra, and I would love to tell you what I just said, but I'm going to tell you what most readers know. When you're reading a lot of things one after the other, readings have to go through and leave so that you can continue the readings. But I think you got a positive reading. Go back and listen. I'm sorry. Hi, Dr. Gail. Hi, sweet Sharon Saipu. Keeps all of us together and knowing where we are. Okay, Carolyn Adams. Hi, Nancy. What should I be doing for my health? Thank you. Okay, Carolyn. What's the trajectory for Carolyn's health? Okay. I can tell you just by all these 4 stones showing up in the shamanic field, that means it's very much you have to deal inside your body. So I'm going to look at this one first. I'm going to look at your mind being in the past and in the sacral creativity. You need to look for some new creative outlets to help you deal with it, because your mind being in the past, you need to break from previous experiences and learn the lessons that didn't work. And that could be who you went to for treatment. It could be if you're like me and you take half the pills and then tell them to get screwed because they don't do anything anyway. Then I found out, for anyone who's older, there's a DNA test, and you can get your doctor to order it, and it's relatively cheap, and it's all over the country. You don't have to be in Dallas to do this. And I had mine done by one of the doctors who created it, because he was good friends with one of my main reading clients, who said, I really want to know what it shows. And they scan your DNA. I mean, they get your DNA, they swab it, and then they run it. And all the big pharmaceutical companies have tested drugs down to the genetic level, or the most of them have. My report was 40 something pages long. And I never reacted well to painkillers. If they gave you Demerol, which is supposed to calm you down, it jacked me up to the point it's on my chart. Do not give this woman Demerol. It's, because when they're trying to calm you down, it's not a time to jack you up. All the way back to, and the first anesthetic full one I ever had other than tonsils, which I was back in the old ether days, kids, and all you wake up from that is feeling really sick. But the first time they put me under with the newer meds, my father was an anesthesiologist. He was in the room when they put the medicine in, but then they made him leave because I had a breast tumor, and they didn't want him to see that his 17-year-old daughter had a really crappy tumor. So they pushed him out of the operating room. But the other doctor that was with him, that was one of his partners, and he was like an uncle to me. It was hard to get medicine in my small town if your father was a doctor. And about 20 minutes before they were finished doing the surgery, I started to wake up. And they managed to get something in me to put me back down. But so my father and all the other doctors that worked on it said, that was so weird. You were waking up, you were coming out of it, your levels were changing, blah, blah. And, I don't remember waking up, but they said, you need to tell every anesthesiologist that. So I would tell them when I went to get painkillers or do anesthesia. And I told an oral surgeon who removed my one and only wisdom tooth, and he had extra meds beside his chair. He said, I'm glad I stock up like I do. He said, I ran through it twice as fast as he would have expected me to. And then when I had babies, the doctors were all warned, and they took extra precautions to make sure extra stuff was there. Now, this has become such a well-known phenomena that they actually have machines that monitor you and let them know you're starting to wake up. But when I got my genetic tests back, they told me that I use it from what they could see. It depended on the med, but I used it 30 to 40% faster than they would have expected me to. And they said, you need to highlight that to doctors. And this is why painkillers don't work for me and a bunch of other stuff, because I can't take it at doses that don't kill me. Um, but I do have one blessing out of my DNA testing. My body doesn't make plaque in my blood. You know those pictures they show you where they show it like building up a brick wall and all of a sudden your your vessels go all crazy and your heart blocks up and stuff. I will never do that. And 3 or 4 times they went spelunking around in my body because I had heart arrhythmias, and they kept thinking it was related to plaque. And they kept doing these, they test my carotid artery, they test this artery that goes across your chest, and they said, we can't find any plaque in you. And that's just not really realistic. I mean, occasionally we see that, but it's just very rare. I'm one of 5% of the people in the world that doesn't make plaque. And my heart doctor said, well, that explains so much. It ends up my cardiologist's aunt is one of the leading astrologers in India. So when I explained to him what I do, he said, oh my God, you guys don't behave like we do. And so he kind of gives me a lot of leeway. So what should you be doing with your health? Be as frank and as honest with your um, doctors. And I just tell them, and I tell them if my guides are telling me feeling something's wrong, I'll try to negotiate something else. I just went through all this yesterday with Medicare people because they're trying to find me the right policy. I think we finally found it. I found a policy that does cover chiropractors, which took forever. Oh, Darlene, where do you live in Ontario? Where do you live in? If you're in Ottawa, my parents grew up in the London area, and my father's hometown is Kincardine. Oh, I already did you, Annie. I saw it. It was a compelling story. I caught. It's just so much easier for me to see them when they're in caps. Okay, let's see. What do you get for my ENT appointment tomorrow to see why I can't sing all of a sudden? Oh, okay. This I'm going to lay cards on. That kind of, especially because it's going to be like tomorrow. So I'm going to lay some really pretty cute cards. Um, for you. Singing tree. That's singing tree. You have my sympathies. I did get my arm to where I don't need to wear wrist braces and things anymore. But there was like 3 weeks there where I couldn't shuffle cards, and that's tough. Not being able to shuffle cards is not like when you do readings. It's a lot like um, not being able to sing if that's what you're used to doing. I couldn't imagine losing my voice. I mean, my speaking voice. I sang as an alto and I toured Europe with a choir made of children from all over America. And I was pretty good alto, but I didn't keep it up. And that's the other part of it. So I'm going to ask if they are going to come up with a solid conclusion about your your singing. They're going to come up with a conclusion for you, and you're not going to like it much. You strained that part of your body to the point it's ready to let it go. Um, you're going to have a good physician. He knows what he's looking for. He knows how to bring the deal in. But you're going to have a devil of a time dealing with the conclusion of their treatment. Please let me know, Singing Tree, what they find. I don't think it's like a tumor or anything else like that. I think it's just that part of your body's been overused. And when people say, well, now you can't talk, you can't sing, you can't do anything, it's kind of sad. I mean, it's like, now what do I do? You're going to find what my guides are telling me is Singing Tree is going to find a new thing to do that she had never really considered. You're going to have a whole new lease on another part of your life. And I also do not get that the infirmity is permanent. You just need to take care of it when they tell you to. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Jen Miranda wants to know what the rest of the year looks like for her. Okay, let's see what the trends are around Jen. Oh, it's bright because they're all going into winter for you. Your spirits down in the dumps, sweetie lumps. This stone, the spirit falling in fire. I told you fire is past life and ancestors and just past things in this life. Something's gotten you down that's been brought up, and it's being brought up quite a bit, and you're not happy about it. And your mind it's telling me the same thing. You've been focusing too much on something from the past, and it's become a burden to you. But then your mind also is in water, and it says let go of limitations. That's what I'm seeing. This is the base of it. But let go of limitations. You've got your body and go for it, which is movement now will be easy for you. You've got your body in water, which says you're getting much more grounded. You've got your grounding and go for it. And all is going, things are going to become so much more aligned with your value in the near future. It's just going to be unbelievable. And you have the clarity to work with it. You have your clarities in water. You're going to have several different paths, and that's going to be kind of fun for you. But you also have your clarity in air. And just be sure your thoughts are clear. You've been doing a subconscious scrub of your, or maybe a conscious scrub of your past, and you're now going to be ready to go for whatever you want. And the seeds of that are already in your thinking. Well, you didn't do it in caps, Sharon, but I would be most remiss if I didn't do a general reading on Sharon's site. Oops. You've got a lot of stuff on you right now about your security. You've got 2 stones in the root chakras. And you're currently tying cosmic wisdom. Cosmic wisdom's pouring in for you, Sharon Sipe, and I think you're not understanding what it's saying to you, but that's really going to help you gain your security, and that's going to be modified by, and you're becoming more energized about what really makes you secure and happy, and you make all of us so secure and happy. We should all wish for you to have the most security and the most happiness ever. And right now, you need to break from previous experiences, and I think you're moving that direction. This little guy's moving here. You're breaking from previous experiences and deciding to take things into your own hands and make your own decisions. And your body is in water. There's something that's come up from your past. You've been working on it. Now you just want to be free, and this shows that you're going to get free. Now this is interesting because your spirit is in. Is it in that one? Your spirit's in water, air, and future. And when your spirit's in water and air, your transmutation is really completed. And spirits transforming your thinking rapidly. And this all ties to in the future. And it says, you're right. You're right between being finished transmuting and learning new things about yourself and how to move forward and how to get on and to get rid of some of this past stuff. You are like within days or a week of just waking up one day, understanding. That's a really powerful place to be. Yeah. Holes in ones are fun, but not when your father decides you're the next Arnold Palmer. And Jen's outside watering her garden. Let's see. Okay. Susie, I've never had a reading, period, ever. Where have you been on these channels? Um, but I'm very curious about crystals in the garden for your general read. So, Susie Hatcher's maiden voyage into the garden. Uh, well, you're working on some real foundational things right now. You've got three. Earth is a great place to be grounded in, and your Earth is final thoughts on some situation you've been troubling over is coming. Um, you're going to be presented with a series of different paths, and you are and more is being brought forward. Things just are swirling around you right now, and they're the things that are just rising up, and it's like you're not even looking for it. It's like when you're peeling a carrot, you'll have a vision of what's coming up, and what's coming up is in fire, and that is you've been going through some. I don't know if someone died around you or they got really sick and it brought up a bunch of old memories, but um, you've got all these enlightening ideas just bursting out of you, but it's coming after a period of time where you really felt like I can't think a creative thing to do with any of this, and you've been trying to figure out what to do with your life. Your spirit's been back here, but your body's ready to move. It's ready to get out of there. It's ready to start letting go of a lot of past stuff. You don't always have to put the Christmas tree in the same place in the living room. Oh, okay. Oh, the synchronicity is that's what her name means. That's very clever. Thank you. Now, because now I was like trying to figure out how am I supposed to say that name? And oh dear. No, that's not it. I promise you. Okay. I don't know where that other thing came from. Hi, Nancy. How can I let go of the past? Well, it depends on what you're letting go of. If you're letting go of, I have a couple different uh, interpretations on when people ask me that question. If you're let going an ideal life that you always thought you'd have, and all of a sudden it's changed and you have to change with it, uh, that can be very difficult. And that would take a much longer reading than I could do right here. But if your life shifting in a way that you're getting rid of impoverished thoughts and you're getting into thoughts of abundance, then that's easy. It's just accept and let go of the old life that changed you down. Actually, if you had an affluent life and it's changed, it's not going to be as affluent as it was. It that's also the same thing. You just have to let go of the past. And I know when we say let go of the past, how do you let go of the past? You live each day to its fullest and do as many things as you can to enjoy their your 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 life. Okay, let's see. Yes, thank you. Celtic Series flying back to Texas. They told him the plane ticket was supposed to be for tomorrow, but he hasn't received it yet. So he told me he's not sure when he's coming back exactly, but he'll be back here soon, and then he'll be back in Wisconsin through the spring. Celtic Seer, well, I find employment. Okay. Celtic Seer's employment. Thanks. Okay. We have to start with the heart. It shows it's going to be this winter. You've already laid the foundation work for it. You're sort of semi negotiating with people, but You got a very interesting stone right there. But we're going to, since it started in the heart, like I told you, when it starts in the heart, that's where we enter from. Your mind is being opened up all the time as to possibilities. And I'm going to read the grounding stone, which is in sacral, root, go for it, water, fire, and past. Could you get any more? Your ability to manifest right now is just supercharged. Just supercharged. And that's where the most that stone is. And the root is and you're understanding more about what it's really going to take to make you secure. When you get this one, it's going to be a really long-term change. I think you've been afraid it's going to be a short-term change. And you are not exactly in fire. I can't show you how, but you're doing that. But you do hit mast. And look for the pattern. Look, something's going to be offered to you really soon. It's going to be a pattern you are happy with, and you're going to understand it's where you should go. May not have as much money as you want, but I think it's going to be good for you. And you're really about to speed whatever you get into. Make a wise choice because it's going to set up a long-term pattern for you. Yeah, we got a lot of planets doing. Celtic Seer is also an astrologer besides being a businesswoman. And she, okay, she's saying hi to all these people, but she's also an astrologer. Venus has moved into Capricorn. And so it's being very determined. Yeah, and also if you're watching this show and I'm doing readings for you and you're not subscribed to my channel, that subscription costs you nothing. And that means the world to me because the more of those I have, after the election, I lost about 60 people who were following me, but I've been looking at talking to other people, and I think a lot of what we were getting towards the end of the election were bots, and I want real people. I don't want bots. So, okay, there goes. Okay, now let's see. Why am I missing Catson? Oh, your cat? Probably because he's coming to visit you, Roni, to try and help you. And you're sensing he's around, but he's not there, and that's frustrating. They do that to us sometimes. Let's see. Hold for a second. I dropped my grounding stone, and it's a very long way to the floor to get it. Okay. And what else do we get in here? So we're not going to be doing any more questions. So, Miriam Bratton gets some help. Got some help. Sherry wants a general reading. Okay. I'm going to throw it real quickly because I knew I'd been over to get that. Nope, I can't. Oh no, here's my mind stone. I'm losing it, guys. If you find it, send it back to me via the universe saying head it towards Dallas. Okay. And this is. You're working what you're not seeing? Well, for one, your spirit's in truth, so you see things truly. You may not like the answer. There is always that part of asking a question. Spirit goes ahead with harmony on your plans, and your grounding is in true, and that's you're seeing things very clearly. So I don't think you're not seeing anything. Your mind is in water, And that's let go of limitations. That's the only thing is if you hold on to limitations, they're going to stop you a little bit. This is physical changes are happening around you. And you tend to think things through based on what happened to you in the past. That would be the one I would think is the least friendly of this. I mean, maybe try some new things are going to come in and you can look at them completely clearly. And now I am not taking more questions, but I will answer a question that I don't have to throw crystals for. This is an easy one. Why do I keep seeing my birth time? Because it's kind of programmed in you, and you have to, when you've seen it, has that led to good things or bad things? And if you've seen your birth time and it's led to good things, then you can, then you're blessed and you have an ability to see. I know a lot of people that see numbers all the time. And okay, I got one more thing I want to get covered, and I need to get back to. It takes 3 clicks to get my picture back on the lovely screen. Okay, in December, I am going to be having a show a day for the Advent season, for the 1st to the 24th, because I got this marvelous Advent calendar, rocks, minerals, and fossils. And what it looks like is, if you guys have not had an Advent calendar, this is what the Advent calendar looks like. It's got the days. When I was a little kid, they used to have cookies or chocolate or whatever. I never got any of it because I came from a family of 5, and my greedy older siblings always got there for the rest of us. But so I've got that coming up starting December 1st. I've made this offer to people. If you are someone who would be interested, and it's going to be a pre-taped show that's going to be sent out as a premiere every day, and I don't know what time. So don't call me Dr. Gail and ask me what time. So I've had a couple people reach out to me. I'm having readers. I have about 15 of the people I need for the 24 days. So that leaves 9. And if you'd be interested in participating in that, that's what I'm going to do this December instead of 9 candles or anything else, because I can get it all organized ahead of time, and I just need that right now. So that's going on, and Roni's right. It's a decent trade-off. No plaque, and you don't get anesthetized every day. I don't get anesthetized most days. Thank you, Jen, for your generosity. And let's see if there's anything in. Oh, Susie Hatcher. Yes, she's coming out of a negative relationship, and she's starting to feel good. You will start to feel good. That relationship was when Pluto was in Capricorn. Pluto is very soon going to be in Aquarius, and a lot of us who have a lot of sad feelings or hurt things hanging around us are going to go. And let's see. Thank you so much. Thank you much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all showing up. Oh yes, and I did pull out a deck to pull, because I think this time of year, this is the time when the trees surrender their leaves and the ground surrenders the crops. So I'm going to do a reading. You must have read my mind, kept me saying the power of surrender cards. I'm going to pull this. These are beautiful cards. I actually have a set of these cards in my cell phone. So when I do purely distance readings, I can actually send them a picture of this card. I did a party once in the middle of COVID, and these 9 women had come to the wine bar I used to work at, and they were all out on the patio because they could still serve wine out there. I thought they were younger people, so I didn't, they didn't have the same sense of mortality I did about COVID. But anyway, I'm going to pull. And the power of surrender. Surrender to sleep and rest. And the reading says, to prevent burnout, slow down. Honor your need for quiet time, peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your body, mind, and spirit. And I know a lot of people, because of some of the anxiety they pull in around them, don't do that. But the world is moving very quickly. And I, and as it speeds up, sometimes it's hard for our energies to keep up with it. I took another small spill on the floor. Nothing that is earth shaking. Actually, what it did is it popped my neck and it straightened out the pain down my arm. But since then, I'm a little bit sore, so I'm not moving anywhere quickly anyway. But the baseline on it is I am sleeping eight hours a night, and that's just wonderful because I'm not pushing myself. We can stay up and do one more look or read one more article. I'm not doing that. I'm going to have a lovely, calm, pre-taped Christmas season. And the other thing about the Crystal Garden, like I said, I have about 20 of them left. When I sell them out, they're going to be gone. I'm going to have all the materials to send along with them. I mean, when you get the crystal grid, you get the scarf, you get all the stones you need, you get a quick keyword sheet. That's the thing I use when I'm reading it. And if you buy my Crystal Garden, you can come, and every other week I have a Crystal Garden class, and we all kind of play with the crystals and we see what we see. A lot of times we just sit and gossip, but that's a whole nother phenomenon that I'm not terribly disciplined at saying. We're here to learn. And so if you're interested, you can go to my website, www.crystaldirections.com, and it's for sale there. And when these are gone, there will be no more. So, with that thought, I type me, you go to my website, www.crystaldirections.com, and go to the shop, and then it says categories, and it'll take you right where you want to go. And thank you to Sharon. Thank you to me for giving me a chance to do one more commercial. And with that, I'm going to end the stream. Y'all have a lovely day. I won't be back live to the general public, as far as I know, until Sunday with Scott, 10 in the morning. And that's a political show. So if you're looking for spiritual stuff, don't go there. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye.